belt system in martial arts is actually an Americanized system. Originally, in karate, there was white belts and black belts. That was it. Legend has it that you're never supposed to wash your belt, so legend has it that the whole thing came with the black belt because they never washed their belt and it was dirty and the hard work, and eventually it turned from white to black. I don't know, it sounds good, it might be the truth. When they came to America, Americans being Americans, couldn't wait 6 years with one belt, you know, they had to accessorize. And so they invented the different colors. But it actually caught on around the whole world. You know what I mean? What a lot of people don't realize, I always give a lot of credit to, you know, the, you know, Orientals, and people always go, oh, you go to Japan, man, those guys, man, they must have been real tough. I said, no, I basically crushed them. We Americans, we invented a good chunk of the fancy techniques that you guys see in karate. You didn't see jump, turn, heel kicks and things like that out of a lot of the Orientals. In fact, Mickey Fisher was really, he was an Texas American fighter who really made that kind of a staple part of karate. And you know, it was very, especially Japanese karate, very basic stuff. And you know, we've been very creative. If you look at the athletes that are the most successful in combat athletics around the world, they tend to be the Russians, the Americans, and the Brazilians, at least in MMA. And every single one of those people, as a whole, has been very inventive in their martial arts practice. America has a deep history of wrestling. In fact, all our greatest presidents were wrestlers. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, my personal favorite. And we have a long history of that. And we have a long history of being, you know, inventive and taking things and making them better. And, you know, we took, you know, different parts of martial arts and you know, and we, you know, we made it better. The Brazilians took judo and turned it into a, you know, a masterful style of jiu-jitsu. You know, judo used to be considered jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is like saying karate. There's types of karate. It's not something that's just karate. There are types of karate. All right, and jiu-jitsu is the same way. Judo was a type of that, and then they went to a really good, great judo practitioner, moved to Brazil and taught the Gracie family, and then they basically started their own style. They called it Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, which eventually warped into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but they've been very inventive and creative with things and improving on what's going on. And that's, you know, one of the reasons why we do so well in the different athletics is because we have that drive to improve. Our martial art program is on that line. We understand the value of powerful martial arts, and you know, we have you know, upgraded what we're doing, and so the belts are kind of a place for us to get a sense of accomplishment for where we're at in our journey. The kind of problem with the belts is that it becomes getting the belts as if that's some form of destination. And like getting your black belt is really not the destination. It is the key that opens it up. Good. Mr. Jackson, my head coach, he didn't really work with a lot of guys. He works with guys now that aren't black belts because he got a lot nicer a little bit. But he wouldn't work with you unless you were a black belt, because he figured you didn't have the wherewithal to put up with it. And that's basically what a lot of guys will do too. It's not until you get up that really, you know, I mean, the really great instructors, until you kind of get to a level where you are, they know you won't quit, or they know you got the gumption to do it. So I always tell people, you know, we're a slow system. It takes you a long time to get the belts. And because there's requirements now for ranking in jiu-jitsu in order to get ranking in the freestyle system, is that we want you guys to have a really great base. You may prefer to strike, but you can't be an ostrich to stick your head in the ground and do not see the value of grappling. And you can't be a grappler and stick your head in the ground and not see the value of striking. And so you'll be able to, hopefully, that when I'm dead and gone, that you guys will be, hopefully keeping our spirit and of our sense of martial art alive. I really hope so. Not all you got to do it professionally. The man who started teaching me originally was teaching out of his garage. He was a dentist. He was a dentist by trade, and a man with a huge heart before that. And so I would like to see you guys grow in the system. There is age requirements for certain rank, and like I said, it's the age requirement's not so much on a physical, requirement. Because I think that we have some phenomenal little athletes that can probably pick this stuff up. But the martial arts practice is really only partly physical. And a lot of it is to be honest, is an emotional and spiritual deal. And having your black belt experience later in life, you're going to get the value of it. You're going to understand it. You're not going to understand it, nor will you be able to put it on them the way it needs to be put on at a younger age. And so you'll see these guys that they will be staying, blue belts for a long time. They'll be staying green belts for a long time. They'll be staying purple belts for a long time. And that's okay. Because, your friends that are taking them to other schools, they'll be black belts by the time they're 10 or 13. But we get those kids coming in here, guys. We do. They come in here and they last one day. Because they get, spanked by our white belts. And, I'm not kidding. It's not an exaggeration. And we don't get them back. There's only a handful of guys that I've ever seen, kids that actually kind of stick it out, after going to a program. We had a kid one of our really great ones turned into be a really great wrestler. He's focusing most of his time in wrestling. But he was a purple belt in the one gym, which is a senior level belt. He came here and literally got whooped on by white belts, and he was like so embarrassed. He wouldn't bring his, he'd go back to school, and he wouldn't wear his purple belt. We didn't tell him he had to take the purple belt off. But he was wearing his white belt after that. And that shows a lot of character in that kid. And he's a neat kid. I didn't really pay it off because he turned off to be, he took fourth in the nation in wrestling this year and stuff like that. So, it shows you, a lot of character. So anyway, so we're going to go ahead here. Some of these guys have gotten, will get stripes because they're not ready for the belt yet. Some guys will get their belt. Like I said, it is a continual journey for everybody on this. I'm still learning, and like I said, I'm 46 now, and so it's I just want everybody to take that approach. I know you want that belt. I remember being a white belt. I wanted to be an orange belt so bad. And the moment I got that orange belt, I wanted to be a green belt so bad. But, when you got in our system, you got the brown belt, and then you didn't really want to go for black. You really didn't. Mr. Stems here, how long were you a brown belt, sir?
20 years.
20 years before he went for his black belt. Yeah, Charlie Matthews, 16 years. Ryan Nett, 12 years. So it's a long, it just shows you, the challenge that you're faced going up. So, first of all, let's go ahead and everybody get
Let me get.
Actually, I want everybody to stand up. All right. Good attention, good going on, okay? All right.
All right. Leighton, step forward. You get your first 2 strikes, sir. Now you're in charge of that. I want to say something about Leighton. Leighton is one that came from from another school, or trained at another school, and then started training here. And he went and competed at the jiu-jitsu tournament in December and went against one of his own teammates, which I think is kind of a nerve-wracking thing. And he got a little flustered in the beginning, and he was down, I think 12-0 with a minute left. And I stayed there and continued coaching him. And Leighton ended up reversing the guy, passing his guard, mounting him, and then finishing, I think, with an arm bar. And came back being down by about 12 points and came back and won the match. It shows a lot of heart. Most people, when they are down that far, would not be able to find it in them to come back and win. You did an incredible job, sir. Congratulations. Let me get Angelina step forward. Angelina, I hope as you grow up, you are going to be able to focus in class a little bit more. Sometimes in class, you do an incredible job. Sometimes we have a little bit of trouble getting you to focus. Angelina is another one, though, that we took to a tournament. In her first match, she didn't do so well. She came back in her second match. The referee actually stopped keeping score because she was getting so far ahead on the girl. So I think he stopped keeping score when we were up about 12-0, but the actual score would have been about 27-0. And then she ended up finishing the girl with an armbar. I hope we get to see more of that, Angelina, in class. You did an excellent job today. You get your first strike. Charlie, step forward for me. Charlie has a great advantage and a disadvantage in that he has a brother that is a big stud in our program here. And that's great because you have somebody to train with at home. That's hard because you have somebody that's doing this that you try and measure yourself up to. But Charlie, we actually let start in this program a little bit younger than we usually let kids, and he's doing a great job. You were working towards that orange belt. You get your next strike, sir. Good work.
Hey, Charlie.
Let me get Griffin step forward.
I'll tell you one thing about Charlie, though, that I always appreciate. He is the smallest guy here. We play certain games in here where they kind of like wrestle ball, and it's kind of like, our version of rugby, just get warmed up. He's invariably on the bottom of the pack every time. And, you're like, oh my gosh, he's going to be crushed. He comes up always with the biggest smile, always laughing. There's nothing that gets this kid down. I love that. Good job.
Let me get Griffin step forward. Griffin started with us a few years ago in our Lion Cubs program and then actually ended up moving to Austin, continued training, and is now back with us. Your training regimen has changed a lot. When you were in the little kids program, we didn't expect as much from you. Then you moved, trained at a whole different gym that was just grappling. Now you're coming back and doing the striking. I know that's hard and I know it's frustrating for what is being expected of you to change all the time. But you are doing an incredible job. It is good to have you back. You are well on your way to that orange belt. You get your next strike, sir. Congratulations. James, step forward for me. James is another one that has the big sister of the program, and I think it took James 3 years before he would say hello to me. So he started coming in, watching class, and wouldn't even talk to any of us. Certainly wouldn't try class as many times as we asked him, but now we've gotten him not only to try class, but he's doing a great job in class. You get your next strike today, sir. Good work. Let me get
Still
Aquila
just
step
as
forward.
untalkative.
He at least says hello.
I don't get that out of it.
I get a high. Aquila, I have a special place in my heart for all of the tough girls in this class. Aquila has actually just recently moved up from our Lion Cubs class, and she is one of the most focused students that we have in class and is one of the youngest. She just recently turned 7, has incredible kicks, incredible grappling, and will come in before class when a lot of the kids are playing in the cage. She is on the other side of the mat working on her push-ups, drilling a double leg takedown in the air, even if no one else would let her drill on them. There is no doubt in my mind that you are going to go high and be very successful in this sport. It is a pleasure to have you in class. You get your first 2 orange stripes. Let me get LJ. LJ is a phenomenal athlete, and he is a very strong and gifted kid. With that strength comes a lot of responsibility. And I know in some of the other sports, for your age, I know you're actually kind of small. So when you play football with kids your age, you might not want to be one of the bigger, stronger kids. In our program, you are one of our biggest comes from a wrestling background and is doing incredible in our class. One of the things that he is working on and improving, and I want to see him continue to improve before we get to that green belt, is the control with the smaller kids. I think you're not always used to being the big and strong guy, and you don't realize how big and strong you are, and sometimes go harder with some of the lower belts. Part of the training in martial arts is being able to work with the guys below you. I have different expectations if you are working with the smallest white belt than if you are working with one of the black belts. Okay? You work on different things depending upon who your partner is. You are doing an incredible job. I want to give you your first 2 green stripes. Wyatt has been with us a long time. He took a break, but it has been good to have him back in class. You are doing an awesome job. I want to see you working on that grappling a little bit more. I know some of us are going to like the grappling more, some of us are going to like the striking more, but all of it is important for you to progress as a martial artist. I wish I had started working on the grappling more when I was younger, because catching up at my age is not fun. I don't want the same for you guys. Wyatt, you get your first 2 green stripes. Good job.
Go, buddy.
Kate, again, it's always my favorite to have the girls in class. Kate is one of our sweetest students. There is no doubt in my mind that I can put her with anyone, that it is their first day, that is a beginner, and she will work with them and coach them and have the patience. And that is a hard trait to find. Not everybody has that. What I want to see you work on is going. No, you absolutely know how to go light with the younger ones and be gentle with them. I want to see you get in there with some of these boys. I know it's not fun. I know they're bigger. I know they're stronger. I feel the same way. But I want to see you get in there and mix it up with these boys a little bit more. You get your next green stripe. Good work. JoJo is another one that comes from a wrestling background, which is a huge strength in this sport. JoJo has been working hard. JoJo does not like to lose. And I relate to that a lot. I hate to lose. Now, the difference is you have to learn to lose, and learn to lose in a way that everyone doesn't know how much you hate losing. Your desire to win is going to take you very far in this sport. It will. But it is okay to lose, and you have to learn that it's okay. And when we lose, there is no greater lesson than losing. Sometimes you go in and you win a tournament, and you didn't really have any tough challenges, and you don't learn a lot from that because nobody really pushed you. And you go in a tournament and you are pushed, and you lose, and you get caught in an armbar. You're going to work on how to not get caught in that armbar, and you will improve before the next one. I want to see you. I know it is hard to get frustrated. When JoJo first started with us, he had a whole lot of outbursts. You get frustrated in sparring, frustrated in grappling. And we see that less. I want you to see it even less before we get our green belt and move up to the intermediate rank. You get your first 2 green stripes. Good work today. Damien, step forward for me. Damien comes in here very regularly. He is, all of the other green and blue belts that are on that row have been training a lot longer than Damien has. You have moved through this program quickly because you are dedicated, because you are training hard. You are doing an incredible job. I know you got frustrated doing your form today, and you were the only one we made do it again. But the fact that you could come back, calm down, and do it again shows a lot about you. Okay? You are well on your way to that blue belt. You're going to get your first stripe. Good work. All right. Adam, step forward for me. Adam has been with us even before we moved to this location. I wish nothing more than that Adam could train more regularly with us, but I know you guys live far away and you cannot get here as much. So again, martial arts is an individual sport. Everybody is going to move through the ranks at a different pace. It's taken you a long time. It is a long time coming, but you got your orange belt today, sir. Congratulations. Let me give Conrad step forward for me. Conrad came to us and he actually had been training at another gym. And he was training only in jiu-jitsu. And so all of the striking, the kicks, the punches, the forms is all brand new to him. And he has taken that and excelled at that. Since Conrad has come to us, the first tournament I saw him at, he lost, I think, to Sam, actually. He competed against one of our students, and he lost to one of our students. Since he has come and started training with us, he has actually not lost a single match at a jiu-jitsu tournament, which is a pretty big turnaround. It says a lot about you and your training. Good work today. You get your orange belt.
I'll tell you one thing about Conrad. A couple things. I like bragging about my kids. I brag about every single one of them. He was at a camp here, and they were doing this chasing, and a big kid fell on him, hyperextended his elbow, and you know, it looked pretty bad. He was crying and put ice on it, and we were like, all right, well, let's take him to the doctor. They took him to the doctor. The doctor said that, you know, he was okay, and came and trained, like 2 weeks or something. The arm got back in. We suggested maybe go see a doctor again. He did, and they found out, oh, he missed, there was a break. So there's a kid who broke his arm and trained 2 weeks with it, and didn't ever complain. And in fact, complained that we had to take him out to let his arm heal. It shows a lot of courage. You know, some guys, and it shows a lot of the guys here. I tell people all the time, and this is a favorite saying of Coach Kazer's too. You can teach somebody skills, but you can't teach them heart. And this young man has a tremendous amount of heart. He's also another one of those guys too that is very good, but he's also really good with you don't have to worry about him beating up the little kids or anything. You know, he's got a great heart, great compassion for his fellow students. He did a great job. I've been very proud of him.
Trinity, step forward. Trinity is Conrad's sister, and when Conrad started training, Trinity wanted nothing to do with us. And she was watching us like, what are you crazy people doing? And finally, we got her and her sister in here. And hopefully, her sister will be in here more. But Trinity has really stepped up. She is another one that always, my females have an amazing way of working with the younger students gracefully, not going hard with them. Some of my boys are a little more hard-headed, and it takes them a while to learn that skill. Trinity, you're doing an incredible job. I'm going to give you your orange belt.